Good afternoon and welcome everyone. We're going to begin our 45-minute beginner yoga here in just a moment. I'd like you to make sure that you have loose, comfortable clothing as well as a nice soft surface. If you don't have a yoga mat, then just on a thick rug is fine. And water handy, whether it's a glass or a bottle. And we're all going to come to our comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like to you. So you might be in a lotus variation with me with the legs crossed, or extending the legs out straight out in front, or sitting back on the heels in hero's pose. And we're going to sit up nice and tall. Let's just give the shoulders a big roll up, back, and down, and then just brace them down and back as far as they'll go. Suck the belly button toward the spine and lengthen through the crown of the head. Make sure you don't let the chest cave in. Good. Now let's take a deep breath in all the way down to the base of the spine, closing the eyes. And exhaling completely. Feel the body relax into the mat, into the earth. Now just for a moment, bringing your attention to today's class, let's make ourselves that promise that we will not push too hard, that will honor any feelings of restriction, especially through the joints, that will maintain the lines of communication with the body, pushing forward when it's appropriate, holding back when it's appropriate, and offering ourselves that little bit of a challenge in the meantime. Now let's take a deep breath in. Exhale and open the eyes. Good. We're just going to start with a little spinal roll down to start waking up the back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale the chin toward the chest, and we're going to roll down one vertebrae at a time. The hands can come to the floor if you'd like. And first, I'd just like you to think about relaxing down from the belly button to the crown of the head, not tipping forward from the hip. So just bring that stretch as much as you can into the middle and upper back and into the neck. It might also come into the shoulders for you today. You can press the chin toward the chest at your bottommost point, and you can even straighten out the arms and press them into the floor to deepen the stretch between the shoulder blades. Breathe into it. Relax as much as you're able on the exhale. Good, and now we'll walk the hands back up and bring the fingertips behind us, shoulders down and back away from the ears. So we're beginning here with just an upper back and anterior delt and chest stretch. So shoulders are way down and we're not leaning back, we're not arching the lower back. Nice straight spine, widen through the fronts of the shoulders, lengthen the neck. And if you'd like a little more, you can drop the head back. Try and keep the jaw closed and the teeth together if you drop the head back. Feel the stretch from the chin up the throat. Shoulders are down away from the ears as far as they'll go, and we're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Now let's inhale through neutral once again, and this time we're going to tip forward from the hip. Walk the hands forward, and we're just going to relax down over the legs. So remember again that you can straighten out the legs anytime if that's more comfortable for your knees and hips. You can rock from side to side, relaxing down over the legs. As you inhale, think of widening the back. As you exhale, just relax the body down. Great. Now let's walk the hands over toward the right side. See if you can keep both hips nice and even from side to side across on the floor. Your shoulders are down away from the ears, and if you'd like to deepen the stretch in the left lower side body, you can crawl those fingertips toward the side wall. Breathe. Great, and then we'll bring it back through neutral and walk the hands over toward the left side. So our flexibility, our strength, our balance, everything is going to be different one side of the body to the other, and that applies to our spine as well. So we're just noticing where we are with our lower back especially, and with our hips and our knees. Staying nice and even across the hips on the floor, and make sure you're not leaning forward too far. Good. And now let's walk the hands back to center and relax right down the middle once again. So remember too that the goal is not to get as close as you can to the floor or reach further ahead. The goal is just to feel the stretch, and that's the theme throughout our class today. The goal is always just pressing a little bit beyond our comfort zone, increasing our flexibility with mindfulness. Good. And now let's press back up. And we'll sit up nice and tall. We're going to come into a deer pose. So I'd like you to first just lean back onto your hands with the knees pointing toward the sky. Shoulders down and back. And we're going to drop both knees to the right side. Now here you might start to notice the stretch in the left quadricep and hip flexor, maybe in the right thigh or the back. And if you're able, I'd like you to sit up nice and straight and tall. If this is not possible for you, or if it's painful for any reason, you can always straighten out that left leg and lean back or sit up straight in half staff. So now we're all sitting up as tall as we're able. Core is nice and strong, and I'd like you to press the hips down, see if you can get even across both sides on the floor. That might not happen, but we're just aiming in that direction and noticing the flexibility of that hip joint. And then I'd like you to just drop that left shoulder down toward the hips. So just allowing the body weight to contribute to your stretch here. Hands can be on the hips or across the chest or behind the head, whatever's comfortable. And I want you to suck the belly button toward the spine at the same time. So just notice how that left leg feels, and remember you can straighten it out any time. Now we'll come up, and the left hand comes to the sole of the left foot, or the left hand comes to the hip if that leg is out straight. The right hand comes to the left knee. Take a deep breath in and sit up tall. Square the shoulders toward that thigh, and we'll exhale and relax down over the leg. So first we're starting always with a nice straight spine. This is a pretty deep twist for our back here. So I'd like you to think about breathing into it as you lengthen and then relaxing down into it as you exhale. Good. Yeah, really good, guys. So just noticing too, there should never be pain in any of our stretches. We're just moving around that level of flexibility. And now let's come on back up. And we'll bring the left hand to the right knee. Inhale the right arm up toward the sky, look up, shoulders down, and we'll exhale and bend. Now here I'd like you to really focus on sucking the belly button toward the spine and bending from the belly button to the crown of the head. Remember too, you can still straighten out that left leg anytime. You can even aim that right knee toward the sky or straighten out both legs and just come into a little bend, a little half moon here. So always there's options. This is always your class. Breathe into the stretch and feel that right rib cage expand. Good. Now let's inhale and come up. Exhale, release the hands back behind you. And we're going to switch. Good. Rocking back. And now the knees point to the left side. So you can always start right here in the middle. Knees point toward the sky. And then we all drop them to the left side. Sole of the left foot is against the right thigh, ideally. But you might want to rest that right knee on the left foot. And then when you're ready, you can sit up. And we're noticing the flexibility of this hip. So remember, it's going to change from one side of the body to the other. And we're not trying to force both hips nice and evenly across the floor. We're just noticing where we are and pressing into it. And you can drop that right shoulder down toward the right leg, especially noticing how that right knee feels. Good. And always breathing into that stretch, noticing where you can relax, maybe through the shoulders, maybe through the jaw. And now let's come up. And we'll bring the right hand to the sole of the right foot or right hand to hip if your leg is extended. Left hand comes to the right knee. Sit up nice and tall, breathe in deep, square the shoulders toward that shin, and we'll relax down over the leg. Tuck the elbows in toward the body and make sure you're starting with a straight, long spine. We're not letting the chest cave in here in order to get closer to the leg. Good, breathe. And feel free to move around in your stretch and just address whatever you need to today. Relax down a little deeper if you're able. Good. Always deep breathing into the back muscles and then relaxing as you exhale. Now let's come up and we'll bring the right hand to the left knee. Left arm reaches up toward the sky as we breathe in deep and relax down. So again, remember, if all of a sudden your right hip and knee start to hurt, you can straighten out that leg anytime. And you don't have to come into a deep twist here at all. You might be mostly upright and just coming into the torso twist rather than into the upper back. Good, lengthen through those fingertips. Feel that left side body open up, especially between the ribs. Lengthen as you inhale. Relax as you exhale. Good. Now let's inhale and come up. Exhale, release the hands back behind you. Rock back and we'll come into a butterfly. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up nice and tall, you can grasp the ankles or the feet. Good. See if you can find that stretch in your upper back, in your middle to upper back, and just flap the knees a little bit. And now we're going to roll over and come into child's pose. Sitting back onto the heels. Arms can be out in front or back by your sides. Or you can rest the forehead on the fists or on the forearms if you'd like. You can rock from side to side across the hips. And just feel the body relax down toward the floor. Good, nice deep breathing. Excellent. Now let's shift forward into table pose. Curl the toes under and lift the hips up toward the sky for downward dog. If this is not comfortable for you for any reason, don't do it. And that includes your blood pressure. So if you feel dizzy or nauseated, you can lower the knees to the floor anytime. Breathe gently, press those heels toward the floor one at a time. And I want you to really target that stretch in the lower leg through the Achilles tendon and calf, as well as through the hamstrings. Lift your tailbone up toward the sky, straighten the back. You might also feel this through the back muscles and the shoulders if you press the body toward the legs as you exhale. Just make sure that your shoulders feel stable in this position. Good. One more deep breath in. Exhale, knees to floor, sit back, child's pose. So take a little break here. Notice how your blood pressure responds. And now we're going to come into a dolphin pose. So, of course, you always have the option to come back to any of our warm-up movements or any of the poses that we've done before this. Just make sure that you're exhibiting perfect form. So I'd like you to come forward so the knees are under the hips and the elbows are under the shoulders. Wrists are lined up with the elbows and shoulders as much as they can be. If they have to come in a little bit, that's fine. I'd like you to spread the fingers and press the hands into the floor. Curl the toes under, take a deep breath in. Exhale and lift the hips up toward the sky. Now remember, if this becomes uncomfortable for your shoulder, you can always adjust your hand positioning to wherever is best for you. Okay, so we're looking for that deep extension through the middle and upper back. Press the heels gently toward the floor and the shoulders down away from the ears. Breathe. One more deep breath in. Exhale, knees to floor, sit back, child's pose. Great job. Now we're going to press up into a kneeling mountain pose and come into a little runner stretch series. So sitting up nice and tall, tuck the tailbone, lace up the core, shoulders down and back. And mostly I just want you to feel really nice and tall here. Good, and nice and open, arms are relaxed at the sides. Let's shift to the left knee, step the right foot forward, press the hips toward the floor, and we're going to bring our elbow to the front thigh. Just touch the elbows with the fingertips, and that's going to show us that our elbows are the proper width, is shoulder width apart. Good, and we're bringing the elbow down onto the thigh, because if we come up onto the hands, then we're going to hyperextend the lower back, and if we come down onto the floor, then we're not going to be able to breathe as easily. So it's really up to you where you are, but just be mindful that we're looking for the stretch in the front of that left thigh, no arch in the lower back, shoulders down and back and relaxed, and deep breathing into the belly. If you want more, curl the toes under and lift the back knee up off the floor. See if you can relax the hips, allowing them to sink down a little deeper. Lengthen the neck. Good, shoulders are wide. And we're just breathing into that stretch. Great job. Now we'll release the back knee back down to the floor and bring both hands to the inside of the front foot. Good, and just notice how that changes your stretch, how it changes through your hip and your knee. On that front leg side, you can widen the feet out if that makes things more comfortable for you, gives you more space. And we're just noticing. And then when you're ready, if you'd like, you can walk the hands forward and gently bend the elbows in toward the body. Just looking for that stretch through the adductors. So you should feel this from the inside of that front knee up into the thigh. Shoulders are down and back away from the ears. There's no tension in the upper body. And now we'll bring the hands back under the shoulders, shift the weight to the back knee, lift the front toes, turn them to the side, and shift forward. So now we're going to get deeper into those little tiny muscles of the inside of the front thigh. You might already be feeling them, so I just want you to notice how that is for you today. Shoulders are relaxed down, and if you want to come deeper into your stretch, you can walk the hands forward. You can gently bend the elbows in toward the body, and if you want less of a stretch, you can just shorten the distance between your front heel and your back knee and sit up tall, looking for this stretch through the inside of the thigh. You don't even have to bring your hands to the floor, or you can just square forward if that's what's best for you. Good. Breathe. And now we'll shift the weight to the back knee and recenter the front foot. Right hand braces under the shoulder on the inside of the right foot. or the elbow can come to the knee. And we're going to inhale the left arm up toward the sky. Lengthen through those fingertips. Feel the side body open up. Shoulders way down away from the ears. So remember, you might be up here, especially if this is not okay for your lower back. Shoulders are wide. Your top hand can come down to the hip or behind the back anytime. If your hand is down on the floor, press that right knee out to the side with the strength of your arm. Shoulders are down. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands down to either side of the front foot, and we're going to step back into child's pose. Excellent. And now shifting forward, stepping that left foot forward, and coming along to the other side. You can take a longer break if you need one, and we'll bring the elbows to the front thigh. First, take a deep breath. Notice where you can relax, maybe through the shoulders, maybe through the jaw. Good. Allow your hips to sink down toward the floor as you tuck the tailbone and lengthen the spine. Good. Finding your perfect posture in this stretch. And then when you're ready, if you'd like, you can curl the back toe under and lift the back knee up off the floor. So remember, the distance between your feet is up to you. So is whether or not that back knee is raised and your hand and elbow positioning. So if you need to come up and bring the hands to the front thigh instead, that's fine. Just check that you're, again, tucking the tailbone, lacing up the core. Lengthen the neck. Breathe deeply. Good. And then we'll bring that back knee back down to the floor, hands down to the inside of the front foot. And we're just noticing how that is for our front hip and knee. You can readjust your foot positioning if you need to. And then you can walk the hands forward if you'd like to deepen the stretch, gently bending the elbows in toward the body. Spread the fingers. Feel the strength in your upper body here. And notice if you can relax that back hip and thigh just a little bit more. Good. So we're just letting our body do the work here. The weight coming down onto those muscles, helping them to extend. And when you bend the elbows, just make sure that they're equidistant from the floor. We're never coming closer on one side than the other. And then we'll walk the hands back, shift to the back knee, lift the front toes up off the floor, turn them to the side, and shift forward once again. Good. So again, remember, you can always just be moving around in your pose and just doing whatever feels most comfortable for you. We're always prioritizing the joints and then moving around that. So if you'd like to rock from side to side, if you're ready to walk the hands forward or bend the elbows in, or a combination of both, just make it yours. Breathe. And with a lot more of us doing so much more walking and running nowadays, these are really important series to focus on, making sure that those lower body muscles stay nice and long, as well as strong, so that we don't endure injuries. And now we'll come on up and shift to the back knee. Lift the front toes up off the floor and we'll recenter. Good. Now that left hand comes down underneath the shoulder and the right arm reaches up toward the sky. Or not. You can bring that right hand to the hip if that's more comfortable for you. Bottom shoulder presses down. And your bottom hand can be up in a fist if that's better for your wrist. If your hand is on the floor, press out into that left knee with the arm. Breathe deeply. If you can't breathe deeply, you're working too hard, so you should bring it down a notch or two. Good. And keep smiling. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands down to either side of the front foot, and we'll step forward into forward fold. Relax down over the legs. Let the body hang. Shift the weight into the heels and lift your tailbone toward the sky. You can grasp the elbows and swing from side to side if you'd like. I encourage you to do inversions a few times a day, so where you're lowering the head below the heart line. That's going to help to get some good oxygen to your brain, relieve toxins, improve circulation, helps with some nerve issues and things like that as well. And it's super easy. Good. Now let's just bend the knees and we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back, reach the arms out to the sides and overhead, little baby back bend on top. And release down through prayer. And release the arms. Great. Okay, we're going to come into our short balance series before coming back down to our mats for final relaxation. So let's rock back and forth across the balls of the feet and the heels, settling in the center, nice and even on all four corners of the feet. First, I'd like you to focus your gaze on anything that's not moving, 6 feet away from you or less, and we'll reach the arms out to the sides and overhead, or out in front, or the hands can stay on the hips. and come up onto the toes. Good. So check that the shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears. Fix your gaze on anything that's not moving. That's going to help you to maintain your stability here. Suck the belly button toward the spine. Good. Notice where you can relax. One more deep breath in. Exhale the heels to the floor and we'll fold forward. Excellent. Now we'll bend the knees and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back. Arms come out to the sides and overhead. Exhale and release down through prayer. And we're going to come into a little chair here. So just for a balanced practice, once again, finding the soles of our feet. And I'd like your feet to be hip width apart or wider. Some disciplines are going to advise you to bring the ankles together. But for our purposes today, hip width apart is what we're going for. So shoulders down and back. Inhale, reach the arms straight out in front. Exhale and sit down into your imaginary chair. Now when you come here, it doesn't matter how low you go, okay? As long as when you come to your bottommost point, your bum doesn't tuck under. That's where you should stop, okay? So you might be way up here high, but whatever it is you're doing, I want you to make sure your knees, hips, and ankles are all lined up straight top to bottom. Your arms can come across the front of the body if you like. Good. Now take a deep breath in, and if you want a little more, exhale and lift the heels up. Maintain your stability if you're able. Now we'll inhale the arms up toward the sky. If it's comfortable for your neck and shoulders, align them with the ears. Sink down into the heels. And then exhale and push into the balls of the feet. Reach up toward the sky. Remember, your fingertips can come to the furniture or the wall. And then we'll exhale, heels to floor and fold forward. Relax down, take a little break. Breathe. And now let's inhale, bend the knees, and we'll reach straight forward, coming right down into our Utkatasana, our upward pose. Sit down into the heels, push into the outsides of the feet. Take a deep breath in. Now exhale and just lift one heel. Try and maintain stability through both sides of the body here. Inhale the heel back down. Exhale, lift the other heel. We're just going to do one more on each side. Inhale back down. Good. Lift one heel. Just one more time on each side and back down. Last one right here. Great. Now with the heels on the floor, inhale, arms up toward the sky. Sink down deeper if you're able. And we'll exhale, push into the heels and come on up. Lift up onto the toes if you can. Suck the belly button toward the spine. And exhale down onto the heels and fold forward. Give the legs a break. You can rock from side to side if you'd like. Breathe deeply, whatever it is you're doing. And remember, you can raise the head above the heart line anytime if you feel dizzy or nauseated. Good. Now let's bend the knees and we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders down and back. Reach the arms out to the sides and overhead. Baby back bend. And release down through prayer. And release the arms. Great, so now just coming into our tree pose and then we'll come back down onto the floor. So standing nice and tall is going to be a little bit more challenging if you're on a cushioned surface. So you might want to step onto a hardwood or a laminate if that's more comfortable for you. Rocking back and forth across the balls of the feet and the heels, settling nice and evenly on all four corners of the feet. And we're feeling our height, we're feeling the arms relaxed at our sides. And we'll shift to the left foot. Inhale the right foot into position. You might just want to stay here with the knee pointing forward and the toes on the floor to practice that single leg balance. Otherwise, you can turn the knee out to the side and bring the foot to the calf, the thigh, or the top of the thigh. And one or both hands into prayer. Good. Tuck the tailbone once you get here, and if your knee is pointing out to the side, press it out to the side with the power of the leg. Lace up the core, and then you can reach the arms up toward the sky if it's comfortable for you. Part the hands and drop the shoulders. Good. So just bring to mind all of those beautiful trees we've been seeing lately in this gorgeous spring weather. Lots of them flowering and putting out new leaves. And just connect with just that ease of being. Good. That flexibility in the wind. Relax your shoulders down. Good. Now let's inhale, hands together. Exhale down through prayer. Release the leg. And work out the ankles. Great. Yeah, well done. Now coming along to the other side, standing nice and tall. And we'll shift to the right leg. Left foot comes into position. Now again, our balance is going to change from one side of the body to the other. So we're just working with it. You might want to come closer to a wall or a piece of furniture. And you can draw that leg into place. Remember, you might want the toes on the floor and the knee pointed forward, and one or both hands can come into prayer. Tuck the tailbone, lace up the core, press the left knee out to the side, and focus. Breathe deeply. Yeah, really good. And now when you're ready, you can reach those arms up toward the sky. Part the hands and drop the shoulders. Good, and just tune in to that balance, that stability. Feel the sole of your foot rooting you to the ground. Yeah. Now let's inhale, hands together. Exhale down through prayer. Release the leg and work out the ankles. Okay, great job. Let's come to the back of our mat now. And we're going to find the soles of our feet once again, rocking back and forth across all four corners. Good. And just standing nice and tall, arms relaxed at the sides. This is where we tune in, we ground and center ourselves. Inhale, arms out to the sides and overhead. Exhale and fold forward, relax down over the legs. Good, and now we're going to walk out into downward dog. You can bend the knees to get the hands to the floor if you need to. And of course you can come down onto the knees first and then bring the hands to the floor if you need to. Just relax here, just for a moment. Breathe, shoulders are down, heels pressed toward the floor. They don't have to get all the way there today. One more deep breath in. Exhale the knees to the floor and we'll sit back into child's pose. Rock from side to side across the hips, stretching everything out, breathing deeply. Good. And now let's press up and we'll turn around and sit down on our mat. Rolling down onto the back and bringing the knees toward the chest. Good, so just rolling the knees around in a circle and feeling the body begin to relax down onto the floor. So now when you're ready, let's place that left foot on the floor, bring the right knee to the chest and cross the right shin over the left thigh. Grasp the right leg with both hands just below the knee and above the ankle. Relax your shoulders down. Make sure that your head and shoulders can rest on the floor here. And then we're going to just draw that leg in. Now when we draw it in, preferably across the front of the body, we should feel that stretch begin in the right hip flexor and glute med, and maybe also down the abductors of the thigh. So we're all just beginning here, and if you'd like to intensify your stretch, you can loop the right hand through the legs, grasping the outside of the left thigh. Just make sure that once you get there again, you can still rest your body down on the floor comfortably. Good. And then from here, if you'd like a little more, you can extend that left leg up toward the sky. So remember too, the point is not to, get up as high as you can, or to be able to, like hold this position. We want the head to be down on the floor along with the shoulders, and we want to press the tailbone down into the mat to intensify that stretch through the hip. You can rock from side to side if you want to. Breathe. And then we'll release the leg, reach the arms out, extend through the fingertips and toes, breathe in deep. And then we'll bring it back to center and come along to the other side. Left shin comes across the right thigh, and we'll grasp just above the ankle and below the knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine, shoulders are down. Exhale, draw the leg in, elbows tuck in toward the rib cage in this movement. And we're always prioritizing that knee and hip, making sure that there's no pain in the joints. Good. Now you can stay there, or you can loop the left hand through the legs, grasping the outside of the right thigh, making sure that your head and shoulders can still rest comfortably down on the floor. Good. So by shoulders, I mean shoulder blades. You don't have to get the entire rotator cuff down onto the floor. Just make sure that you're not hiking up or arching the upper back in order to try and get here. Extend that right leg up toward the sky if you want a little more. And arch the lower back, pressing the tailbone down into the floor. Good, breathe. Good, and then we'll release the legs. Full body stretch to release the joints. Breathe in deep, reach out through the fingertips and toes. And we'll exhale, bring everything into the center, knees to chest and forehead toward the knees. Now leaving the legs where they are, release the body to the floor and we'll come into our knee down twist. Reach the arms out to the sides in a T shape to the body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and drop the knees toward the right side, looking out over the left fingertips. You can shift the hips if you need to. Now your knees don't have to reach the floor today. They can hover for now if that's more comfortable. Good. Breathe, extend those fingertips out toward the side walls. So feeling the arms get longer. And I'd like you to see if you can bring the stretch through the middle and upper back. Good. Lengthen, reaching. One more deep breath in. Exhale the knees back to center and hug them into the chest to release the lower back. And now again, we'll release the upper body to the floor, arms out to the sides. Drop the knees to the left side, looking out over the right fingertips. Good, so just allowing that twist to do the work. Bring it through the torso, through the rib cage. Reach for those side walls, lengthening through the fingertips. Breathe. Good. And then we'll bring the knees back to neutral. Hug them into the chest, forehead toward the knees. Now we'll come into a bridge pose, placing the soles of the feet on the floor. Heels come close to the body, and if you can just barely touch the heels, that's great. They can be further away from you than that, but not closer. From there, we'd like to relax the arms at the sides, knees point toward the sky, and they're in line with the hips and the ankles. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, and just gently roll up one vertebrae at a time, lifting the hips off the floor. Press your shoulders down away from the ears, work them down as far as they'll go. Do not turn your head when there's pressure on the neck, so your gaze is always toward the sky in a bridge pose or anything like that. Good. Drive the heels into the floor, feel the backs of the legs working while you relax the neck and upper back. If you'd like, you can clasp the hands behind the back and work the shoulders under to open them up. Press the back of the neck down into the floor. Press the arms into the floor to lift up a little higher. Breathe deeply into the stretch. Feel the rib cage expand as you inhale and relax as you exhale. And now let's bend the elbows and release the arms up above the body. Roll down one vertebrae at a time. And we'll bring the knees into the chest and the forehead to the knees. Good, just tucking in. Excellent. Now we're going to roll over onto our right side. Grab a drink of water on the way if you'd like. And we'll finish off with just a few quadricep and back stretches. So laying right down, I'd like you to just make a little bend for your head. And our hips and our knees are bent at 90 degrees. And we're going to bend the top knee and grasp whatever is closest to or most comfortable for you. So we're looking for maybe the pant leg, maybe the sock, maybe the top of the ankle. And if you can't reach anything, that's okay. Just bring that leg as far back as you can and tuck the tailbone to find the stretch through the quadricep. See if you can keep your shoulders stacked, one on top of the other. And see if you can squeeze that top knee down to deepen the stretch. Suck the belly button toward the spine. And relax wherever you're able. Your neck is relaxed and resting on the arm. Your bottom shoulder is too. Great. And now we'll release the left leg, straighten it out, flex the foot back towards you and bring it in front of the body. You might start to feel a stretch in the left hip, and then we'll just grasp wherever is closest to or most comfortable for you. So that might be behind the thigh, behind the knee, behind the calf. You might want to reach for the ankle or toes. Just make sure that you're not bringing the whole body forward in order to reach them. And from here, wherever it is you are, arch the lower back. Lift up the tailbone, because that's another thing we'll do. We'll tend to round the spine so that we get closer to the leg. But with a straight spine, we'll get a much better quality stretch. Good. And now let's bring that leg back to neutral with the knees and hips, knees and hips at 90 degrees. And then we'll reach both arms straight out in front of us with the palms together, right at our shoulder height. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, and we'll reach that top arm up and then back behind us. You can readjust your shoulders to open them up as you move. And now in our reverse knee down twist, we're going from the top down and looking for that good deep upper body stretch. Good, through the torso, through the rib cage. You feel free to move your arms around. Your shoulder does not have to come all the way to the floor. If this is too much pressure for that left shoulder, just bring that arm across the front of the body to relieve some of that. Good. As you inhale, think of widening the back, opening up the rib cage. As you exhale, relax down just a little more if you're able. Good, one more deep breath in. Exhale, and we'll bring that left arm back. Hand comes to the floor and we press up. Sit back in the child's pose. Reset the back. You can rock from side to side if you want to. And we're going to come along to the other side here. So laying on our left side. And once again, just make a little bed for your head with that bottom arm. Knees and hips are at 90 degrees. And we're just finding our positioning with the shoulders and the hips stacked one on top of the other. And the neck long. Good. Your top knee can bend and we'll just grasp whatever's closest to or most comfortable for you. Press your top knee down. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Tuck your tailbone. Here we will have a tendency to arch the back in order to feel like we're getting deeper or to not feel the stretch. Good, so we just want to really find it. Good, breathe into the muscles you feel stretching, and as you exhale, just ask them to relax. Great, and now release that right leg, straightening it out, flexing the foot back toward the body, and then bringing that leg up in front. You can grasp behind the thigh, behind the calf or knee, or you can reach for the toes if you want to, but remember that that's not the goal. We're just relaxing down here and looking for that stretch from behind that top knee up into the hamstring. Good. Check that the chin never comes toward the chest. We want to keep the neck nice and long, and we're arching the lower back to bring that stretch up nice and high on the thigh. Breathe. Excellent, and now we'll bring that top leg back, bending the knee, bringing the knees and ankles together, and reach both arms straight out in front in line with the shoulders. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, and we'll open that top arm up, and then back behind us. Good. So remember again, if this twist is not comfortable for you, you can come into any of the moves we've already done. You can reduce your twist if you need to, just make it yours. Good. Reaching for those side walls if you're in that full extension, and prioritize that nice straight long spine. Good, so lengthening through the crown of the head. And we're breathing deeply, allowing that twist to do the work of improving our circulation, of moving toxins out of our bodies. Relax wherever you can. Good. One more deep breath in. Exhale, and we'll bring that top arm back. And press up. Sit back in a child's pose. And reset the back. Excellent. And now we're going to press up and sit down on our mat and come down onto our backs once again. Bringing the knees into the chest, and we're going to finish off and come into Shavasana. So just relaxing down onto the mat. Rolling the knees around in a circle, one way and then the other. Good. And we're going to finish off with a full body stretch. Hug the knees in, and you can bring the forehead toward the knees if it's comfortable for you. Inhale, reach out with the arms and legs. Lengthen through the fingertips and toes. Smile. Exhale, bring everything in, knees to chest, forehead toward the knees. And again, breathe in deep, reach out. Last one here, extend. Exhale and bring it in, curve and round. And release the body to the floor. And now I'll ask you to get socks or blankets or sweaters or whatever you need to be warm and comfortable. Now that we're no longer moving, we will be cooling down. And we're going to come into our final relaxation to finish off our class today. Good. So meditation is about first and foremost learning to quiet the mind and slow down our pattern of thoughts so that we can then choose what we want that pattern to look like. So that's what we're focusing on today. We'll be focusing on the breathing or on the music or whatever you like. And they say there are 4 steps to meditation. There's focusing on the breath, getting lost in thought, realizing you're lost in thought, and then coming back to the breathing. So just accept that as part of the process when it does happen. Instead of getting agitated, it's just training to come back to our focus. So we'll start by taking a deep breath in all the way down to the tips of the toes, stirring up any tension that might still be left there, and exhale it out, pressing it out of the body consciously. Breathe through the calves, the shins, the knee joints and thighs. Exhale tension all the way down to the bones. Breathe through the hips, pelvis, buttocks, and lower spine. Exhale, tension. Feel the body relax down into the mat, into the earth. Breathe through the muscles of the lower back, side body, and abdomen. As you exhale, feel the internal organs relax, slowing down. Breathe through the middle and upper back, through the rib cage and solar plexus. As you exhale, just allow the heart and lungs to slow down, relaxing. Breathe through the collarbone, shoulders, biceps, and elbows. Exhale, tension, feeling the arms relax at the sides. Breathe through the forearms, wrists, palms, and backs of the hands. As you exhale, feel the fingertips let go of tension. Relax the muscles of the neck, through the top of the spine and the base of the skull. Relax the throat. Relax the jaw. Relax the muscles of the face, around the eyes, mouth, and ears. Relax the brow. And lastly, release the breath, breathing naturally as you sink deeper into relaxation. Now slowly bring the attention back to the breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale completely. And as we bring our awareness back to our bodies, wiggling the fingers and toes, moving the wrists and ankles around in circles, let's bring to mind that short little list of just 3 things that we like or love or appreciate. Maybe something we're looking forward to in the day, or something we enjoyed yesterday. Anything at all. And then as you bring your knees into the chest, just rocking from side to side, keeping the eyes closed, giving yourself a hug, and offering yourself that appreciation too. For showing up and for doing your best, for doing something to calm your mind and make your body feel better, so that you can move better in the world and offer more. And then taking your time and keeping the eyes closed, gently find your way to a comfortable seated position. And we'll take a deep breath in. Exhale and open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. Just let us know, as always, if you have any questions about anything that we did. And we hope to see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.